Y'all better watch your tongue because we're live now.
Yeah, we're talking about Semaj being the most white supremacist of all five of us on this table. I better pull this up. What do you think, Martino?
Oh gosh. Well, at least you guys got to see that we do have a good time. We do laugh here on the other view. But PB, what are we supposed to talk about today?
Well, why don't we introduce our panel, because we have a full one. You want to do that? And then
We sure do. We have my lovely wife, Gianna, and baby Israel.
Look, he looks so much like his pastor.
Oh, he just gave the wrinkly eyebrows.
Look at him. Yeah. All right.
And then we have Rita, the founder of Choices of the Heart, which is
our guest
foundation
today.
that I love. And yourself, you are the founder of Boston County Community Church.
And this this group of people called
Hijack Life,
right?
Semaj, you're the youth pastor at Boston County Community Church, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Glad you agree. Brigade, you're my son, right?
Yeah. He's all buff today wearing his tank.
Just left the gym, guys.
You know what's funny? I always know the people that have muscles because they wear their shirts 5 sizes too small. And they walk around, They got that self-like walk. It's the funniest thing
This is going to have good viewership. There we go.
Oh, last week, over almost 7,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was almost our largest. Our largest was the week we introduced Baby Israel. We had almost 8,000 views that week.
All right.
Let's do it.
Stick to the script. What is today's topic?
Yeah. Well, we are going to talk about, we're going to finish my choice, my body, my choice. We started it, remember?
Yeah.
And that we had a significant number of people who tuned in that day. But we wanted Rita to be a part of it, and you had a slammed week, right, Rita?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we brought her back, Rita said to me, we should really talk about the war that New Jersey, the war, New Jersey's war against life and womb.
So I'm excited for that. So I want to welcome you. Welcome to Hijack Life Live. We believe that God rescues the dreams that have been shattered by the cruelties and injustices of life. I am so happy to have Rita from Choices of the Heart. She makes a huge difference in the lives of women and children all across the globe. And with that, Semaj, let's get this panel, a.k.a. the other view, going.
Let's get it going. So, what made you select today's topic, PB?
I introduced it just a few moments ago on why we picked it, because Rita said, hey, let's talk about what's happening in our state.
Okay.
And I loved when you read today how this is Hijack Life Live. And what we deal with is the fact that the enemy, Satan, will hijack our calling. He'll destroy our dreams, right? And if there's any person that fights against the hijacking of life and the dreams that are extinguished in the womb, never have a chance to live out God's purpose for their lives.
Last week somebody made a comment and said, what if you abort the baby who will cure cancer?
Yeah.
Somebody wrote that last week.
Yeah, we look at Beethoven's story. That's the story and a half. I mean, he should have never been born. His parents had everything wrong with them. And look what he gave us. So, anyway.
A musical.
Well, Rita, I think that you should explain to everybody and to us the Supreme Court of the United States ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade and what it means to you.
Now, did it really overturn it?
No. So it was a momentous ruling. It was called the Dobbs decision, and it was big because the overturning, what it did was basically say...
Wait a minute. I'm going to interrupt you.
Yes.
Let's find out if anybody knows before we even go any further. So if you're a viewer, right, and the Supreme Court made this ruling, do you remember when, Ray?
June 2024. 2022, sorry.
2022. Do you have any idea what it did, Brigade?
Not really to say it makes sense now.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking if we went to the street,
choice.
if we went to the street, I wonder how people would answer that.
Did
That's
it
why
give
I'm doing
states
it.
a
How
choice?
about you, Gianna? Did you have any clue without looking at your notes?
I'm not looking. I have no notes.
Yeah, but I'm going to ask you. I asked Gianna. Don't speak for her. That's what I have to say to my sister for Uncle Jerry. Hey, don't speak for my uncle, will you? Yeah, my
What are you
brother-in-law.
asking? I'm sorry.
Do you know what the Supreme Court did in 2022?
I thought they stopped the Roe versus Wade.
Okay, but what do you understand of that? I'm not trying to point out our ignorance. I'm just
That
saying.
they stopped the legalization of abortions? Is that
Okay, and now let me ask Semaj. We'll do
My
Martino
gracious,
last.
this is painful.
No, it isn't. I'm trying to make that point that if we went to the street and you said to them, oh, in 2022,
They wouldn't know.
when the Supreme Court ruled,
Right.
what happened?
They
And
wouldn't
you know
know.
what they would say? Oh, they would have it totally screwed up. They wouldn't even know. Go ahead. Do you know without looking at
That I
your notes?
believe.
Can you ask me the question again? Because we're all over the place.
I'm asking, when the Supreme Court ruled against Dobbs versus Jackson, or Dobbs versus Jackson Women Health Organization, what was that ruling that everybody freaked out about, and now it's a huge issue in 2024?
Well, wasn't it the right for the state to choose, or
Choose what?
the right to abort, or
Okay.
not to abort,
All right.
legalize in the state, right?
Okay,
It's the state's decision.
and how do you see it, Martino?
I could be complete ignorant. I didn't read today's notes. I never
No,
read
well,
the notes. But
right.
in my brain, what I thought it was is that a state can choose versus the
Yeah.
government saying it's a federal
It's a
thing
federal thing.
across all 50 states. The state can say, look, if you have a baby that's going to be born and live, you can't terminate it.
Yeah,
or
or they could set 15
Or they could
weeks,
set,
whatever.
yeah, that's what I thought.
All right, well,
I
let's
could
see.
be wrong.
Ray, tell us
PD
what
has
it
a
was.
great point because when the decision was made in June 2022, women went nuts. They've taken away my constitutional right to abortion. No, they didn't. First of all, abortion is not in the Constitution
Yeah, I was gonna
anywhere.
say that.
Okay, you don't have a
Wow.
legal right to abort your baby. It's never been there, ever. Abortion became legal in 1973. That was the Roe versus Wade decision. Legal across the country. So what the Supreme Court did in the Dobbs decision was say, you know what, this isn't federal authority. This goes back to a state issue. Every state has the right to determine whether or not abortion should be legal in their state. Some states, 13 of them exactly, had trigger laws saying that if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, immediately we're going to abolish abortion in our state. State government had that set up. Great. 13 states, no abortion. Some other states went to the ballot. They said, okay, if you want abortion to be legal in this state, let's vote on it. You got to be careful, though, what they did with that. Like a state in Kansas. Here's what the ballot said. So, do you think women should have the right to their own reproductive autonomy? Not should be okay to kill a child in the womb.
Right.
Completely different, okay?
Yeah.
So, of course, Kansas, who is traditionally conservative and pro-life, they voted, yes, women should have reproductive rights. So it's legal in Kansas to have an abortion. Things like that. New Jersey, problem.
All the way, yeah, we'll talk about New
Oh
Jersey.
wait, hold on.
Go
I
ahead.
would vote yes that women should have reproductive rights. That's funny. I would vote
Yeah,
yes.
but that's
I would
what
say
she's
they
saying.
can have IDF
But
or whatever
I
it's
have to
called.
tell you,
It's all about the wording.
But I think
IVF,
I
IVF
think
is
the
right. That's
pro-life
fine.
movement, particularly the Republican Party, is just stupid. I'm sorry. But
Yes.
they should have left the thing alone. Because they knew the election was coming up, right? They should have left it alone, and not try and pass these total ban things. Just leave it alone till the election was over, and then they had 4 years to start to institute what they wanted to do.
Well, let's
But
be...
they just set a fire ablaze.
Well, yes and no. Because there have been 40,000 babies born in Texas and the other states that have outlawed abortion since the Dobbs decision. So that's 40,000. And
Give
he
me
just
Gacy.
confirmed that.
He did, but he's big too. He just
Showed everybody.
He just made a big.
Did you guys hear that?
He wanted a little attention. This girl wanted attention.
That was
Oh, he loves his brother.
Yeah, look at that. Looks like his brother. Oh my gracious. Yeah. All right, go back. Sorry, Reed.
So there are over 40,000 3,000 lives that have been saved since the
give
Well,
them-
adoption.
I don't mean they shouldn't have done it. I would have just not made such a big deal until after the 2020 election.
Yeah. The Republicans they have no clue what they're doing.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, especially the Congress.
Honestly, as a Republican, I agree with you.
It's embarrassing.
It's
It is.
so
It is.
embarrassing.
I mean, the Democrats can be totally wrong and they stick together. The Republicans have to fight.
Tooth and nail.
And I think there's so many good causes that many Republicans stand up for those of us who believe, and
Yes.
particularly in this issue and in same-sex marriage and
Yes.
all of those things that are moral issues to us. But it's just one of those things.
I agree.
But anyway,
I think
finish up. I'm
she
sorry.
nailed that because I'm definitely not voting for. Anyway, go ahead.
So back here in New Jersey, which is really what we wanted to talk about today, our state government was being prepped and prepared for what was going to happen in Dobbs. What do I mean by that? Well, they were setting up, King Murphy was setting up Little Czars. He set up this reproductive rights panel or group. These are people that he put together to say, okay, we're going to make sure that the reproductive rights in New Jersey stay the way they need to stay. And that is going to involve pregnancy centers, and we'll talk about that in a second. But he also said, okay, I want to pass a law called the Reproductive Freedom Act. This act is going to allow abortion up into birth, so that if in other states women can't get an abortion, they're going to be able to come here and get one with no questions asked. Now keep in mind, New Jersey already has no parental notification. That means a minor, as young as 12, even 11,
Doesn't have
younger,
to tell.
doesn't have to
her
tell
family.
her parents that she's getting an abortion. Medicaid in New Jersey pays for abortion. Okay, so now you have abortion up
So
until
that's
birth.
our money.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Okay,
So in giving it back to the states, the
Yes.
state had a right to say, we're not going to pay for your abortion.
right.
They could also say, we're going to ban all abortions up to, after 15 weeks or 16 weeks, right?
Yes, they could say
So-
when there's a heartbeat. They could have said any number of things.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, was it Louisiana just totally banned abortion?
Texas did.
I think
Texas,
Louisiana just the other
did.
day.
I don't know either them or Alabama, but it's one of the southern
Yeah, right.
states. So yeah, he was prepared. He
Yeah.
passed the law in January of 2022, somewhere around that time, and then here comes June, the Dobbs decision. So what ends up happening? We have women traveling into New Jersey to get an abortion, late-term abortion, anytime abortion.
And now, if somebody comes into the state, does the state still pay for it?
That I'm not quite sure about.
Okay.
That's a good question. Usually when a girl, they may have to take residency in order to get paid.
Yeah,
Medicaid
that's
pay.
what I would think,
Yeah,
right?
they have to take residency.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they can still have it done under the state, which would be significantly less than if they went to a private doctor and had an abortion, right?
Yeah, it can
Or
be.
maybe,
It
maybe
depends.
not.
It depends.
Okay.
It really depends.
All right.
I know.
So I guess the subsequent question would be.
Oh, I'm not
How-
done with New
oh,
Jersey.
okay,
A
go
lot
ahead,
more is
yeah.
going on. Okay, so
Yeah, all right,
he gets
sorry.
this reproductive rights task group. Forgot the word when I first said reproductive rights task group to kind of work with the Attorney General. They did work with the Attorney General to say, okay, we're going to now eliminate or try to eliminate these crisis pregnancy centers or pregnancy resource centers. We don't call ourselves a crisis pregnancy center anymore. We call ourselves a pregnancy resource center. Because these people are deceivers. They're deceiving women into coming to them saying that they, don't provide, they do provide abortion, they don't provide abortion, women are confused, who are they, what are they? So they sent out a consumer alert to everybody in the state of New Jersey, and they said, beware of these crisis pregnancy centers. Do not partner with them if you're a medical professional. Stay away from them. And they go on and on and on about how bad we are.
So why are you what do they call you? A professional, something crisis pregnancy center?
They call us a crisis
Well, what do they
pregnancy
call
center.
Planned Parenthood?
No,
No, I'm serious. I mean,
call
really,
it-
if they're attacking you
Yes.
and you're a crisis pregnancy center, why aren't they attacking Planned Parenthood? Why are they targeting you?
Well, we know why they're targeting us, okay? It is because we stand for a biblical worldview. That is period, the end,
Yeah.
bottom line, okay? They're not going to say that. So we have never, in all the years that we've been operating, and I Twisted the Heart was 30 years, okay? Have had an official complaint filed against us by anybody. None of the pregnancy centers have. So what did we do? We went to court. We filed an OPRA request, an Open Public Records Act document, and said, hey, why did you do this? Why did you send a consumer alert out about us? I mean, it's like, imagine all the chiropractors in New Jersey have a consumer alert sent out about them that they're bad, they're not real doctors, don't go to them. That would just be so crazy.
I saw in the news last night, New York did that. In the social media. They attacked, what they did was they squelched the advertising on social media of pregnancies, crisis pregnancy centers like Rita's. And then they blasted, promoted
I want to hear about
the other
this
side.
OPRA.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So we filed an OPRA request, and it was taking forever for them to respond because we wanted to know why. What was it? Order to show cause. What was it that caused you to put this consumer alert out and try to harm us this way? I lost my doctor over it. The doctor that was reviewing our ultrasound scans, he said, I don't want to deal with this, and left. That was their goal. So he left, and he left 4 of the pregnancy centers in South Jersey without a physician. We had to stop doing ultrasound.
Wow.
So as it
And
turned
that
out,
is your number one
my number one, right? So they caused me
tool
damage.
or
They kind of-
vehicle
yes,
that
yes,
persuades a person not to have an abortion, correct?
exactly. 80%
So I
of the
want to
women.
know, what did you find in the OPRA report?
So after it took weeks, months, whatever, they finally, using Planned Parenthood and the Cherry Hill Women's Center as help to see where we're off. Can you tell us if you had any clients that went to a pregnancy center and had something bad happen? This is in the court documents and way more legal terminology. Oh yeah, I went to that pregnancy center. This is one unnamed client in Blackwood, ours, by the way. This was our center. They gave us a baby blanket and said, congratulations on your pregnancy. We find that manipulative.
What?
Manipulative?
How?
This
we
is called
congratulate
woke
them
America.
on your
Yes.
pregnancy.
Woke
Oh, my
up.
great.
Woke America should be called Wake Up America.
Yes.
Here we have a woman who has all these volunteers who, when someone's pregnant and is fearful and scared,
Right.
they hand them a blanket of security, and now it becomes manipulation.
It's a hand-knit blanket by some older women who want to give these babies something brand new when they're born. And we give it to the girls after they have a positive test and get their ultrasound saying, thank you for coming in, this is for your baby.
But Planned Parenthood doesn't manipulate anybody.
No,
right?
never. So, of course, you go to our enemies to get an opinion about us. Imagine that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like going to the what? Going to corrupt police and asking them if the mob is bad.
Yeah, it's a kangaroo court.
It's ridiculous, right? So that's how that landed. And now we're in the process of countersuing the state for. We want him to retract. We want him to retract his statements. And I, along with another colleague in North Jersey, started the New Jersey Association of Pregnancy Centers, and we just said, let's get all the pregnancy centers to unify, and let's not take this line down. Meanwhile, the Attorney General subpoenaed one of my colleagues, Senator Subpoena. He wants 10 years of advertising, 10 years of donor records, 10 years of everything to show who she advertises to, how she advertises, what she's putting out there, and she's now fighting the subpoena in court. She has the Alliance for Defending Freedom representing her, so that, because the Attorney General is not only in New Jersey, but in other states where pregnancy centers exist, blue states, they're coming after the centers, saying we want all this documentation because you're deceptive. You are misleading women into coming to, it's such a ridiculous thing to say, because the first thing we say when we answer the phone is we do not provide abortion, we do not refer for abortion, we do not recommend abortion, but there are things that we can do here to help you, and that is ultrasound. And do you know why ultrasound is important? And they'll say, well, no, why? Because ultrasound will tell us if you have a viable pregnancy. Did you know 1 in 3 pregnancies end in miscarriage? Why would you go ahead and have an abortion if you're already in the process of miscarrying? Doesn't make sense.
Let's stop for a minute.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say that
Yeah, I've
Ever.
never heard that either.
in my life.
I can believe that. First pregnancy.
Of course, I can believe it.
And
But
it's
what
getting
I'm
higher.
saying is, I've never heard it, and what I've heard is that it's so hard for us to get pregnant, or it's so hard for us this and that. And my wife, bought these strips on Amazon to let her know when she's ovulating, and these women try so hard to finally get this human in them. And you just read that.
Let's see, Brigade, you want to see if we have any comments so far?
Oh, I'm sure
There's a lot of
Oh, I
people.
can check on my phone.
There's a lot
Oh, all
of
right.
viewers.
80% of the women who see their baby on ultrasound will choose life. Now, we can see a heartbeat on ultrasound at about 5 weeks, 5 days. A heart is existing and beating at 3 weeks of pregnancy. Most women don't know that. 22 to 25 days.
When did
Baby
you-
has a heart.
Yeah, I want to ask you.
Remember, because you sent us a note, like you heard its heartbeat.
Yeah, remember we asked when we were there?
It was earlier than
Let's see, Brigade Scott, do we have any
Yeah, from
thoughts?
2 different people, Dr. Weiss and Vera Chopin. Dr. Weiss said it's a biblical issue, not a governmental issue. It's an individual's volition to be right with biblical truth or not. There is no souls until the first breath. The baby in the womb is made in God's image and by His plan, so should be allowed birth and the breath of the soul to become dichotomous. Sorry, I don't know the word. Then through faith in the Lord receives the Spirit and becomes.
Trichotomous.
Yeah. And then Vera Chopik said, I am sorry, but government has no say over a woman's body. Protect the right to choose by all means. Your church can govern you and only you if you so believe. Government and church are separate by constitution. Keep it that way.
Well, I feel that about same-sex marriage. I think the government, and if they have their way, particularly this administration, they will control every aspect of our life. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said to him, I said on Facebook, I said, what has this president done he's a black man, for the black man? Just tell me what he's done. He's put you all back on the plantation. If it was his choice, he'd be handing you rubles that aren't worth crap, and control your life. That's what this.
Who'd you ask that to?
No, I can't tell you.
I just,
But no, and I'm just saying that's what they want. They want to control our whole lives.
But what did Dr. Weiss say about until the baby has breath, there's no soul?
Well, I think no. He's saying that when the baby first has a breath, then it should become. It's now a moral issue with the church, not the state.
Right. We believe life begins at conception,
Right.
based on what the Bible says. The Bible
I
says,
knew you
before I
formed you in the womb.
Yeah.
Right. You form my inmost parts. I am fearfully and
So
wonderfully made.
let's ask a question. And we're not a doctor. He's watching. So when that baby's conceived, when the seed reaches the egg and it's conceived,
Yes.
when does that baby start to breathe in the womb? Is that what he's saying? Or is he talking about as far as this becoming state property or your property or church property, neither of which, it's all God's. But does that then begin at the first gasp of breath?
We believe it begins at conception, at the
So
moment of conception.
I said this last
Yeah,
week.
because otherwise we could
That's when
terminate
the
a baby in the
chromosomes
womb,
slip, exactly.
right?
Take all
So he
of
must
us.
mean the baby breathes in the womb.
I don't think he believes that, but I think he believes when the baby's outside of the womb. But if you take
what
all
did he
this
say?
aside,
He just commented
Wait,
against it. It's in the article I posted in the comment. There is no soul until the first breath.
told you.
Soul.
Yeah.
Soul.
He said there's no
No soul until the first
How
breath.
is
So,
that biblical?
but it's
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know
not.
that it
No,
is or not.
yeah.
I don't believe it is. But just hear me for a second. The white rhino is about
Life
to be
begins
extinct.
at, life begins at conception, stated in scripture in an article I posted.
Okay,
Okay.
good. But the white rhino is about to be extinct. If you could produce 5 white rhinos and give it to science to be able to populate Africa again, you could be a trillionaire, not billionaire, trillionaire. But you can't, because you can't get a white rhino unless a male and female concept the baby
Conceive, yeah.
in the womb,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So we treat these animals that are so close to extinction,
Well,
we
yeah.
protect them and we coddle them and,
Yep.
and we do all this because it's
True.
so precious. That little thing is so precious.
Mm-hmm.
But for humans, is it? That's my question. I mean, I'm listening to
No,
both of
if
you.
anything, it should be just the opposite.
I read
It's
it.
the
I
greatest
remember I couldn't
tragedy
get
of
a
our
red-tailed
times.
hawk taxidermy.
No.
The guy wouldn't touch it. And it was hid on the side of the road. I picked it up. I took it to the guy. I said, can we taxidermy? He says, I can't touch that thing. You kidding me? I'll lose my business.
Our peacock. I had to prove that that was our peacock, that died of natural causes. They wouldn't taxidermy it. But yet you can slaughter 1.6
Yeah.
million babies?
What were you going to say?
I was going to say that it is the greatest tragedy of our times. We have destroyed over 61 million unborn babies in the United States alone since 1973. we've destroyed a generation of people. We're under the replacement level on birth rate. We're at 1.6. 1.6?
Per family.
Yeah, per woman. So you need 2.1 to
But for
to
those of
replace.
us who know Scripture and have followed its history, what's scary here is God
women per.
clearly says
I know what you're gonna say.
that the nations are punished for their sins.
Absolutely.
And I always say, if Abel's blood cried from the ground because Cain killed him, what are you doing with 61 million babies?
Let me tell you how demonic it is. That Jesus himself at the Last Supper, what were his words?
Yeah.
This is my body.
Yeah.
So what did the devil do? Let a woman say, this is my body.
Wow. Great point.
Okay? He just twists what God does.
Always deceives.
Twists.
I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like that me and Gianna were trying to have a baby. She finally gets pregnant, everybody's excited, and they're so grateful. But if you weren't trying to get pregnant, and you get pregnant, then it's not a big deal and it's okay to do it. So where do you draw the line? Like Brigade said, if we're drunk and you cause a car accident, you're hit with a double homicide. Well, why is it okay to make it a double homicide when you're drunk, but it's not okay to cause it a double homicide when you say I made a mistake?
The laws are schizophrenic sometimes, Martino.
Yeah.
That's what I don't
They're
like.
absolutely schizophrenic.
Right.
And for me, it is about women. You can't save the child without helping and serving her. And the reality is, and all we want to do at Choices of the Heart is to make sure that she has every bit of information to make that decision.
All right, I want to ask Semaj a question. So, in a sense, he's the emerging generation, right? Actually, you're one generation in front of your teens almost, right? Mm-hmm. What are your teens' view? What do they do when you talk about these issues?
The crazy thing is though, like when I talk about these issues, like with like my teens, like it's more so like in like a small group setting. But like certain teens that are, locked in with the Word of God and are locked in with, God's viewpoint of life and all that, they'll be the ones to stand up and say something.
All right, what about the ones that aren't? How do they view this?
A lot of teens are, and this is where the church really, I wouldn't use the word challenge, but the church really has to step in. A lot of teens are under the influence of their schools, or they're under the influence of the world and things like that. So like even when you talk about things such as same-sex attraction, or even this topic right here, abortion, a lot, they're still like, I'm Christian, I love Jesus and all that, but when it comes to these topics, a lot of teens can also plead the fifth,
Or they cave in.
or they cave in
Into
and
the worldview.
into the worldview.
What about you, Brigade? When you work in the salon or you're at the gym, does this subject ever come up?
Not really.
No.
Mm-hmm. And only one of my friends, well, a few of my friends that I went to high school with have had babies. My one just had one, the other one's pregnant again. And then I know my one best friend wants to have a kid. So I don't really know anybody who has a negative impact on it really like that.
Okay.
For me, it comes up every day, in the salon.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to go on the record that I would never tell a woman who her life is at risk or the baby's life is at risk. We said this before. I would never judge that woman or tell her what she can or can't do. I'm clearly, and take religion. I could be an atheist. You still have a conscience as an atheist. Pretend.
You do.
I'm an atheist. I see an old lady trying to leave ShopRite. I'm going to hold the door for her. That's my conscience, right?
Right.
So my conscience says that I would never judge a woman who could be terminal or the baby could be terminal. That is 1% of the millions of aborted babies that we have here in the United States. I am talking about birth control, and I don't think it's right. What did you say? You pay you pay the piper last week?
I forget exactly how it works.
I'm sorry, right?
You do the deed,
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, let's go to Gianna, because she's kind of quiet.
Well,
over
she's
there.
got a baby, so
No, but let's talk about the salon. Women ever talk to you about this issue? They probably know
because I hear
your
it all the
position.
time.
Yeah.
They do.
I haven't really had any one-on-one conversations
Okay.
about abortion.
Well,
to be honest with you.
the research that we did last week for the program said that there was a decline for a while. But then all of a sudden it's escalating, and they think now there'll be more abortions than ever. Is that correct?
Yes, because the number one abortion procedure in the United States is the abortion pill. It's a medical abortion. So you can get that on telehealth.
I did not know that was an
Yes,
abortion.
and the other thing is that we're finding out that women are getting it without a physician. They're getting it overseas, or we had a couple women come into the center who said, I took the abortion pill and I still feel like I'm pregnant. Can you give
I
me a
thought that
scan?
stopped conception, no?
No. What happens with the abortion pill is it takes away very important nutrients to the baby and causes the death of the fetus baby. And that's the first pill. The second pill expels the baby. But we have something now called abortion pill reversal, which is a heavy dose of progesterone, which is a natural hormone. And it's progesterone that the abortion pill depletes. So we give it back to them. So we send them to places where they can get reversal if they want it.
Crazy what we can do
And
with science.
we're saving babies.
Can I,
Yes.
can I say something?
You don't have to raise your hand, it's not a class.
You're not in school, but I am in the middle and I'm taking the stage right now. We couldn't wait to see what the baby looked like inside Gianna's womb. If, God forbid, she lost the baby, which my grandmother had 8 miscarriages, you know.
Take that.
My point is that you cherish this baby inside of you, right? You want it.
Right.
So how is it possible? This is my real question, and I'm going to ask you as a mentor.
All right.
How is it possible that a man and a woman can want to have a family so bad that they birth this baby inside them and they coddle it, they protect it? God forbid the mom gets sick, she's on bed rest for 9 months, so she doesn't. How is it possible that you could take that thing and say, it's not life? But on one side of the fence, it's the biggest life.
But if they wanted it, they wouldn't say that. The people who are going to abort it is because it's an inconvenience. It's interrupting their lifestyle.
But
their
that doesn't
goals,
take
their-
away the fact that it's still
No, I agree. But they don't. They will make it's just like we justify our sin. They're going to justify the abortion. They'll find a way to say, I'm not letting my 13-year-old have a baby. It'll destroy our life and her life. She's got a whole life. She can't be a mother at 13.
Right.
So they're going to look at it like this is the right decision. They'll justify that decision to terminate life because they'll say it's better for the baby. The baby shouldn't be born in this circumstance.
Right.
Sadly, it's just the world. It's the deceiver. Let's come back to it.
What about Semaj?
so
What's Semaj?
yeah.
So what I was saying was, and I'm going to shift gears here a little bit because I'm the black guy in the group. You
I
can't.
told you he was a racist. Black guy in the group,
Like,
come on.
Whenever I have this conversation, I can't have it without leaving race out.
No, I agree with you.
Because,
most
like,
abortions are done by people of color.
Yeah, and
Isn't that
it
correct?
breaks my heart because, like, when I was at Dell State, even now when I have this conversation now, I always say, okay, like the woke agenda is like, we're fighting racism and it's all about equality and all that, and the woke agenda definitely has the pride movement, and it has the what is it my body my choice and all that. And I always tell people, you do realize that that's contradicting. And they're like, what do you mean? I say, you can't be equality and I'm fighting racism and you support Planned Parenthood. You support my body my choice because the whole entity was created to exterminate the black race.
Margaret Sanger was a eugenist. Her
Like-
goal
I
was
said that last week.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell
And
the
I'll tell
truth.
you something else. When we look at populations,
yes.
the Spanish population is about 18% and growing in the United States. The black population has been at 12% for years.
Why? And any person that's viewing,
They have abortion.
any person that's viewing, if you want to challenge anything I'm saying, when have you ever seen a Planned Parenthood in the suburbs?
No.
You only see them in low-income areas.
Yes. Urban areas.
Well,
You
let's
only
go on. So Rita said something. Do you have anything more you want to say? Because I want her to come back to something you said in your speech.
No, go right ahead.
Go ahead, Gianna.
Where am I at?
I recall Rita when she spoke in church.
Sorry.
So don't
I
get
was
to
on
do
the
a
wrong
lot
page.
She's
anymore.
lost.
I recall when Rita spoke in church, she said abortion promises what it can never deliver. The pregnancy may be gone, but oftentimes that decision has unforeseen and tragic consequences of its own. Many women and men come to choices of the heart to receive healing from a past abortion. because they are suffering from depression, drug addiction, suicidal thoughts, anxiety attacks, and infertility due to a past abortion. If you have been affected by abortion, Choices of the Heart is here to serve you by helping you find peace and restoration through the Word of God, because there is no sin out of the reach of God's forgiveness.
That's powerful.
Yeah, so I thought we could have a few questions built around this.
Okay.
And then we probably are close because we've been a good half an hour already.
Way over, yeah.
All right. So my question is, what is the average age of those who come to cough?
Choices of the Heart. 18 to 24 is our main demographic, but
Okay.
we've seen some people as young as 12 and as old as 65 who've had
Wow.
past abortions. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
does Choices offer a girl coming to the center?
She will get a pregnancy test. She will get a physician consultation. She will get an ultrasound. Those are the very
Is
first
this
things.
all free to them?
All no cost to them whatsoever. If she's post-abortive, we have a healing class
Well, that's why
called
your
Heart.
banquet's so important. Is
Wait,
what you
let's-
raised, like 250,000
Yes.
or something.
Go back to your
Yeah,
last
yeah.
thing. You also provide what for people that had abortions?
A healing, 10-week healing program called Heart.
That
Wow.
I think. should
Yeah,
really
we
be-
are going to press into that.
Yes.
Gianna? Yeah, question?
Modern medicine now tells us that the heartbeat of a child in the womb can be heard 22 to 23 days after conception. Is that correct?
Yes, well, 3 weeks is when the heart's there. 5 weeks, 5 days, we can see it on ultrasound. Yeah.
So I know.
Incredible.
Yeah, it is. I know it's easy to rail against something that's wrong. I mean, anybody can do that. But my question is, how do we reach those who have already had an abortion and won't even say the word?
Yeah. First of all, it's really important for people to understand most of the women that serve inside a pregnancy center have had either a past abortion or an unplanned pregnancy. Myself included. I had an unplanned pregnancy with my son. We need to let women know they're not alone, that they're not the only ones that had this tragic thing happen. And here's the biggest problem. Satan is the deceiver, and he's lying to them, letting them think that if they explain to others or give their testimony about the abortion, that somehow they're going to be, judged or shamed. And see, the key to the healing is admitting, is confession, is sharing the story, because then another woman would be able to share a story, and then another, and then another. But often it's very hard to get them to do it.
So I know the Catholic Church recently has taken a stance against abortion. What about the Protestant Church, the Mormon Church, the Islam, fastest growing religion in the world? What's their stance?
Well, first of all, Islam is extremely pro-life in their position. Okay, that's why they really hate Westerners and Israel, because Israel has abortion on demand, and so does the United States. So they are huge when it comes to pro-life. Catholics always, they were the beginning. They were pro-life, pro-life, pro-life. Protestants will talk evangelicals. Because you have different sects of Protestants that mean
Yeah,
touch
look
us
at
with a
Methodist
10
Church.
foot
1
pole.
million churches left the
Yes.
Methodist Church
Yes.
because of their stance on same-sex marriage. I just saw it today on the news. 1 million.
Our funding comes from evangelicals. So evangelicals take the biggest.
Well, the Catholic Church has held this stance for years. Even
Absolutely.
Harrison's speech, he addressed contraceptives.
Yes.
Like, don't mess with God's plan.
Right.
And he took the heat for it. But I thought for sure, my whole side of the family is Catholic. So my cousin watches us, and the other day Martin was bashing the Catholics. She says, "I'm not going to watch that anymore." I said, "Oh,
Listen, bash.
Listen,
But
I saw
anyway,
here's Catholic school.
yeah,
I'm
and
not
so-
going to bash Catholics.
okay, you hear that, my cousin? you heard it wrong. But
Catholics
anyway.
believe in the same God that died and rose on the third day that I believe in.
Amen.
I've never bashed them.
But thank God for their stance. When so
Unbelievable.
many have just fit. And I thought for sure, because this Pope is such on the left side of things,
Oh, he is.
that he wouldn't stand up for life, but he did. I was shocked.
That's wonderful. I didn't know
And
that.
he stood up he stood against any kind of same-sex relationships, period, particularly in the priesthood. And I was kind of surprised, because, he's a
That's good. I never
socialist.
did that.
He's-
Yeah, I know.
Big time.
I know.
So Brigade, I think that's our final question.
No, I wanted to
Brigade
get to talk about adoption.
What's your position on adoption? And do you always recommend the mother to keep her child, or are there times where you would recommend the mother and parents to give up the child for adoption?
First of all, we would love if every woman chose adoption over abortion. But
Amen.
that's just not what happens. It's like their last resort. And we use special language when we present adoption. We don't say give up, we say make an adoption plan. We talk about that plan taking time, and the decision may not happen today, but we
Giving
will
the
work
child a home that works for both
exactly.
of you.
Now we don't get involved in the adoption. We're the advocate for that woman, but we'll send her to an adoption agency of her choice. However, you said, do they do it? Most times they don't, and that's really sad.
Yeah, because
Sad
that
part.
excuse of the child's not going to have a good life goes away.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Well,
Yeah,
our very first
absolutely.
client, who was recommended by PB, came in. Her parents said, she's going to place this baby for adoption. She was 16, and she said, I'm not doing what they say. And I listened to both of them. But I told her she had to make a plan. I said, you come back to me, show me your plan. What's life going to look like when you have this baby? And after weeks of shading her plan, she made a decision she was going to keep that baby, and she presented that to her parents after we put it together.
Wow.
And that's exactly what she did. And now he's grown, and he's going to be 30
I know
soon.
exactly who it is.
What's your
That's
website?
incredible.
Yeah.
What's your website, Rita?
My website, choicesoftheheart.com. We are changing our name this year, so.
What are you going to change it to?
I'm going to let you be the first public group to know. It's going to be called True Women's Center. True Women's Center.
True Women's-
TRUE. Testing, resources, ultrasound exams. Those are the things.
Oh,
True
that's
Women's
cool.
Center.
That's
lovely.
cool.
Because love rejoices in the truth.
Oh, that's amazing. So,
Awesome.
hey, listen,
We're
remember
going
to
to close up, right?
Yeah, remember to share this, like it,
Yes.
dislike
Love
it.
it.
It's your choice.
Yes.
It's America. But if you have a
Yes.
question or a comment, feel free to message it. If you'd like a copy of today's transcript, you can also put that in the comments, and Gianna will make sure we get that to Pastor Bruce. If you or someone you know is dealing with a pregnancy and you just don't know what to do, please reach out to
Yeah.
Choice of the Heart. We have one right here in town on Green Tree Road. And then, what does this weekend look like at the Welsh County?
All right, so Pastor Blake is speaking on who are you worshiping? So, nice topic.
It
Who
is
do we
a nice
worship,
topic.
right?
Hey, on that note,
This is how we close out. So you got our
One.
proclamation?
Okay.
2, baby Israel, you ready?
You ready?
1,
Wake up.
2, 3.
Live for Jesus, and even a bad day will be a good day. Love you guys.
Coming at you from
Bye.
God bless.
Hijack Life Live, aka The Other View.
That's
Au
right.
revoir.